Multi-digit multiplication using number chips. This is a digital lesson. It's a lot of fun for the students. They can move these colorful chips around their screen in order to solve their multiplication problems. So the lesson starts with showing students how to line up the numbers when they're multiplying. So they're going to line them up in the ones place just like they do when they add or subtract. The larger number is going to go in the top row. Now when we multiply, for example, a 3-digit times a 1-digit number, we're going to start multiplying in this bottom row here in the ones place. And we're going to multiply from right to left. So 3 times 3, then 3 times 2, then 3 times 5, from right to left. And the next slide shows them how this works. So 523 times 3, I'm going to multiply 3 times 3 and get 9. And then 3 times 2, and this is actually 3 times 20, so we'll get 60 instead of 6. So 3 times 2 is our 6, and then 3 times 5 is 15, from right to left. And students are going to do this starting on slide 5. They're going to move these number chips, and they're just going to multiply 4 times 2 here, and we're going to click and hold on the edge, and then we can move it into place. So from right to left, 2 times 4, 2 times 3, and again click and hold on the edge. And we get an answer of 468 for this problem. Now there's a couple ways that this is self-checking. First of all, they're going to match their answer with this letter in the yellow heart on the final slide. And if they've done these correctly, they will solve a riddle. The other way it's self-checking is that every slide has every number the students need. So especially as these problems get longer and more difficult, if they get to the end of a slide and the numbers aren't working, they know they've made an error somewhere and they need to go back and check. So they want to make sure they use every single number. They're going to do the same thing on slide 6. Slide 7 shows them what to do if they multiply and they get a 2-digit answer. So here again from right to left, 4 times 7 is 28. We're going to keep the 8 here, but we're going to move that 2 up into the next column to the left, right above this number. So 4 times 4 is 16, but we're going to add that 2 and get 18. We're going to keep the 8 and then move the 1 over to one more column to the left above this number. So now we have 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25, and we get our answer. So students are going to be practicing that on the next slide. The numbers that they carry are going to be the smaller numbers here. So here we get 5 times 2 is 10. We're going to place the 0, and we're going to carry the 1. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. We're going to keep the 1. Carry the 3. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23. I'm going to keep the 3, carry the 2. And then 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 is 27. And now I have my answer. Same thing on the next slide. Now students are shown what to do if they're multiplying a 3-digit by a 2-digit number. So they're going to multiply this 312 first by 3, and then they're going to multiply it by 20 in this second row. So we're going to need to start that row with a 0 because we're multiplying by 20. And then we're going to add the two results together and get our final answer. So students are going to be doing that on the next slide. You can see there's more number chips to move. They need to remember that the second row is going to start with a 0. So they get a few more to practice. When they get to slide 15, they've got a 4-digit by a 3-digit, and it shows the students that that third row is going to have to start with 2 zeros because we're multiplying by 300. So they get a little bit more practice. Now when they get to that final slide, here they have all of the answers that they should have from the previous slides. So they're going to go back, look through the previous slides, find each of these answers, and then type in the number that's in that yellow heart. If they've done it correctly, they will solve the riddle, what tool is best suited for math? So this is digital lesson, multi-step, multi-digit multiplication.